Lynn is absolutely in love with her job. After 43 years of working in schools with kids, I think 6 or 7 different schools in Minnesota and South Dakota, and she just absolutely loves what she does.
She wants everyone just to succeed. That's her main priority, so she doesn't care what's happening with her, as long as the students are happy and succeeding and doing well in school and preparing for the future, she's happy.
She's one of the most humble people I know, so she leads with humility, which is a rare thing.
I'm a South Dakota girl. Grew up in South Dakota, went to school, went to college in South Dakota, and I was raised in a family that valued education above everything else. And so we all became teachers.
She is well learned in both the theory and practices of education, and she is a gem. I've worked with her for 32 years, and so these are not empty words. I've watched her work with thousands of kids and have success with nearly all of them.
Like most principals, somewhere along the line, someone said to me, "Have you considered administration? I think you should think about it. I think you would make a good principal." And the idea of having a broader influence in a school, rather than just in my own classroom, have some of my ideas about education, some of the things I believe that make for an effective classroom experience. Having a broader opportunity with those ideas is what drew me to administration.
She will take each child into her wing if she sees that they need attention, which is just a rare trait to have for a leader.
Where she really hits the mark and is truly excellent is in reaching out to that child who's not being successful at the moment and doing everything she possibly can to have that child find success.
Education at its heart is about relationships, far more than it's about the academic content. We all remember that teacher that made a difference in our lives. We remember the teacher that cared about us, that seemed to take a special interest in us. Education is first and foremost about relationships.
When I was deciding on a medical career, I was kind of iffy about it. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my life, but she was really there. She was like, "Josie, you love medicine, you love helping people. If that's what you want to do, go pursue it." And I was just a little nervous for the long schooling ahead and just everything that a medical degree requires. And she was just so supportive of me and was there to have my back and give me a hug if I needed. She's just so loving and caring, and I really got to see that on a personal level.
Frankly, I remember a high school counselor telling me my options were secretary, nurse, or teacher. And that was about it when I got out of high school. Our girls now see any possible career as wide open to them. They cannot perceive that they would be restrained in any way by their gender. And so that's a great, great change in young women's opportunities and possibilities.
Lynn is deserving of the ATHENA Award quite simply because she is among those in the central Minnesota community who make a huge difference by the leadership she applies and by the influence she has and the results she gets with thousands of people with whom she's come into contact. That's not just students, but keep in mind, that's also mom and dad, grandpa and grandpa, aunt and uncle. And so when you start adding up the impact that she's had in this central Minnesota community with other people making a huge positive difference, you don't need to look any further down the road. It's an obvious choice.
The most important thing that happens in the school is between the teacher and the student, in that classroom where that learning happens. And so my job is to make sure that happens. And whatever I can do to help the teacher, to help the student, that's my role. It really is a servant role. It's not a big, important role. It is a servant role to both teachers and students. And I hope that's what people recognize. I think that likewise is a role for the Community Foundation in St. Cloud. It's a servant role. And if I can keep that as my legacy, I would feel good about that.